I've got 14 things that I want to share with you that can be jeopardizing your safety and your health. Conveniences. How easy we gravitate to those time-saving, labor-saving things that make our lives supposedly easier. However, some of those things that make our lives easier, they're putting our lives at risk, sometimes serious risk, and not just our own lives, but the lives of our loved ones. So we've often heard that a great business model, one that's guaranteed success, is to fulfill a need. But I would go even further to say that if you want foolproof success, then make convenience your major selling point of whatever you're trying to sell or push, whether it's a product or a theory or an idea. If you can make people's lives easier or give them a shortcut to something they probably don't want to do anyway, then I think that's probably a great business model to go by, wouldn't you say? Okay, first on the list is cut up fruit, vegetables, and salad mixes. And wow, these things are really popular, and I buy them myself. And there's of course a financial cost to that convenience, but there's also a hidden cost. The hidden cost could be E. coli, salmonella, or listeria. And yeah, those don't sound so great or appetizing. And according to the research I did, these bags of salad say they've been triple washed and ready to enjoy, and they really warn us to not take that as a blind trust that there's nothing wrong with that product, to still wash it yourself. Okay, number two on the list, and it's a little similar to number one, but that is deli meats and cheeses. And late this summer, you may have seen in the headlines there was a listeria outbreak that's killed, I think, maybe 7 people over a particular brand of deli meat that was cut up in the store's deli, not the prepackaged deli meats. And catching listeria, from the research I did, there's a 20 to 30% mortality risk associated with that. And of course, if you are immunocompromised, elderly, very young, pregnant, the risks just mount from there. And I know it. I love a great deli meat and cheese sandwich, but I think it would probably be safer to stick with the prepackaged. Now, it's not 100% safe, but it does seem to be, from the research I've done, safer to steer away from getting the meats cut in the store. You can't be sure what the guidelines are in that particular store on how they clean their equipment, how the environment around the equipment is, the workers that are involved with that equipment, and so forth. Okay, number three, idling your car in the garage. Now, maybe most of you all already know this. I hope you do know this, but I still have to remind myself not to get distracted. I come home to pull in the garage and leave my car running while I check a text message that I got while I was driving, or just doing whatever. Because even if the garage door is open, the carbon monoxide fumes from the car can seep into the interior door of your garage, your windows. It still can find its way in. It's just not a good thing. You don't want any levels of carbon monoxide present if you can help it. So it's safer to just get in the habit of, when you pull in the garage, to immediately turn the car off, to keep yourself safe, for one, because the fumes will seep into the car. And when you're leaving, the garage, to just make sure the door is all the way up when you start your car and pull out. Okay, number four, another convenience that can kill is distraction. And it has killed in proven cases. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about texting while driving, using earbuds while jogging or walking, scrolling on your phone while you're walking down a street, or scrolling on your phone while you're pumping your gas. All of these distractions can put you at serious harm. Now, I am not normally super paranoid, and I don't want to come across as a doomsayer, but I know that in the world we live in today, we just need to be a lot more aware of our surroundings. And if we are multitasking, especially with our phone, and I mean, I have to remind myself of this very same thing. But, I mentioned, the earbuds. And I think this is particularly for women. If you have your earbuds or your headphones on while you're jogging or walking, and you may not know who is watching you and thinking that you would be an easy target because they could approach you in ways that they might not normally be able to approach you if you did not have those earbuds on. And for the same reason, I say that when pumping gas, there's been an uptick in in certain areas of the country, crimes that have been committed in gas stations. And, if you aren't paying attention to what's going on, you could be assaulted or harmed, or your car, someone could enter your car without you being aware. So I say these things because distraction it's convenient to just, get on our phones. But I think we have to remind ourselves that today we need to be really aware of what's going on around us and keep ourselves and our loved ones safer that way. Okay, number 5 on the list, and you had to know this was going to come, right? So fast food. I mean, what is more convenient than going through the drive-through on the way home? Oh, wow. So, I've mentioned fast food. I've probably bashed it a couple of times in some other videos that I've done. And do I never eat fast food? No, I do eat it occasionally. And this one won't kill you outright. But with everything that I've read on the topic, it will take years off of your life, and maybe many years off of your life. The bad fats and the bad carbs that are in all of this fast food that we're eating, it's not good for our heart or our liver, or just overall it will cause your lab numbers to go up, whether it's your cholesterol or your blood sugar or your blood pressure. And these things will cause chronic disease in your life and take not only years off of your life, but they'll take the quality of the years that you do have away from you. Fast food is so convenient, but the price is just really too high. So just make it something that you do infrequently, if at all possible. And number 6, which is very similar, is processed food, junk food. Now, wouldn't I much rather have a bag of chips than to peel and cut up all those potatoes that I have? Of course I would. And that's probably my weakness, and that's potato chips. I love them. Now, the goal of these products, they add so much sugar and so much salt and fat, and those are all the things that we love, and they get us addicted to it, and they know what they're doing, so we get addicted to these things, and we've got to fight back. We've got to practice some self-discipline and fight back with it, because the end result of those addictions will be a shorter lifespan. Number 7, running a red light. This one just really infuriates me. Now, I'm not talking about running a yellow light. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about knowingly charging through a traffic light that is full on red. And I never really saw that happen until a couple of years ago, and now I can routinely see it happening. And it's actually terrifying that some people out there have found that this is an okay thing to do. So now, what I've tried to get in the habit of doing is if I'm first at the light and when it turns green, I pause for a minute and I just kind of look in all the directions, because I have had so many close calls recently where people are just flying through there. And I'm thinking that if I had just, you know, taken off as soon as my light had turned green, they would have ran right in, broadsided me. And why people think that this is okay behavior, I just don't get that. So, number 8, the convenience of just leaving your front door or your back door unlocked. Habits are great. Habits are easy. I mean, it's just so easy to just not have to think about a lot of the things that we do every day in our life. And in a lot of ways, that actually does make our lives better when we have routines set up to not have to make so many conscious decisions throughout the day. But leaving our doors unlocked at home, not a good idea. That is a habit that I would suggest that you would break, and just get in that habit of locking it. Even when you walk the dog around the block, you have no idea who may be sitting somewhere watching your routines or watching your neighbors' routines related to things like that. And I mean, if walking your dog around the block takes only 5 minutes and someone knows that you don't lock your front door when you exit or your back door, that's just not safe. I mean, you're putting yourself and your loved ones at serious risk. So just get in the habit of, maybe put an extra door key on your dog leash. I've even heard of people, that still go to bed at night and leave their doors unlocked. And I just, I just think that we all need to lock our doors. It's such an easy thing to do. Every time you come home, lock the door when you're inside as well. Just every time you enter or exit the door, lock it behind you. Number 9, driving after only one drink. Now, of course, it's convenient to just go ahead and hop in the car. Who wants to call an Uber? Or who wants to call a friend or ask someone else to drive? And, you may have heard the news recently of Justin Timberlake going through a similar thing right now. And I believe that the judge ruled that he needed to make a public statement to people that driving, even after only one drink, don't do it. And whether or not you believe Justin Timberlake's story is really beside the point. Driving, even after only one drink, can hamper your response time. And with the way drivers are today, which I alluded to in the other point, we need our faculties in full force, and we need as quick a response time as we can muster. And drinking and driving is just a convenience that you cannot partake in. Okay, number 10, storing propane in your garage or inside your house. Now, I have to be honest on this one. I did not know this. I have a gas grill, propane gas grill on my back porch, and I have the big 20-pound tanks that I own that go with that. And I thought the garage was the perfect and most logical place to store the extra one when I wasn't using it, until I found out that that is not the right place to keep it, or anywhere inside your house as well. These tanks can, especially with age, but even just sitting around, they can leak propane without us knowing it. That can cause a situation to where if there was any flame or any igniter, that could cause an explosion or a fire, or even blunt force upon the tank could cause an explosion or an unsafe situation. So everything that I've read on this, they recommend that you store it in, if you have an unattached garage, a garage that's not attached to your house, then it's okay, or an unattached shed Just you can put them there. They even say you can store them safely, outside, which is what I do, in a semi-protected area. That's where I store mine. Number 11, not cleaning the lint trap on your clothes dryer. Now, I was shocked about the facts related to this one, but as we know, that those lint traps can get full really fast, and there are so many fires that start because of dryer lint. I mean, you can ask any backpacker or camper, and they know that dryer lint makes a great fire starter to take along with them. It's great for that. So what's not great is that we don't want that kind of combustible thing in building up in our house. So get in the habit of cleaning that lint trap after every dryer load, and also check outside where your dryer exhausts out. And if you can't feel when the dryer is on, if you can't feel that hot air coming out of there, then you probably have a buildup within that duct. There are ways of you just cleaning that out periodically, because that is a huge risk for fire. Okay, number 12 on the list of conveniences that can kill. Well, that convenience in this case would be your couch, or being a couch potato. And we've heard that sitting is the new smoking. Truth is that being immobile most of the day, that's going to lead to seriously chronic conditions that will shorten your life and shorten the quality of your life. And if you're sitting behind a desk all day at a computer, and you're commuting an hour each day to work, sitting in a moving vehicle, and we're sleeping maybe 8 hours, 7, 8 hours a night, what are we doing with the remainder of that time? Are we just coming home and we hear the siren calls of the couch saying, come, sit down, just veg out for the next, 4 hours? Now, I heard a story once of a guy that wanted to train for a 5K, and the couch had turned out to be like his mortal enemy in this process. So he actually sold his couch on Craigslist, got rid of it, didn't replace it. He had no couch in his living room in order to train for that 5K. Now, maybe that's a little extreme, but he knew that he needed to do something drastic in order to achieve his goal. And maybe the allure of the couch was just winning, every time. So he got rid of the temptation. And I think that's actually pretty cool. Okay, 13 on the list, and that's pesticides. Now, yes, it's more convenient. It's more convenient to grab a can of Raid when you have an ant invasion, or lay down some ant traps or bait traps around the house. But pesticides in any form are extremely toxic. Otherwise, they wouldn't kill the bugs. I just feel like that the risk is too high when you have small children or pets to use these kinds of pesticides. Now, if you have a bug invasion, I'm not saying you have to live with them. I mean, I have those problems quite a bit here in the South. Let me just say, there are no shortage of ants in this world. If you just look online at more natural ways of repelling the insects, I mean, that's the first thing we ought to want to do, is to repel them, make our home unwelcome to them. But I do know that that doesn't always work. So there are some other ways that you can use essential oils. I found that boric acid powder, you can buy that online. It's a lot less toxic. But I found that with ants, even roaches, that is an effective thing to use. It just takes a couple of days to work, so you have to be patient, but it will kick in and take care of things. Yeah, just going and buying whatever the brand names or whatever the corporations tell us to buy to rid us of our bug problem, that's just way convenient, and I don't think it's effective in every form, and it's just a buildup of toxins in your home that maybe you don't need to do. Okay, number 14. Now, this one might be a tad bit controversial. This one applies to our loved ones in our homes, in our families, our pets. And the item on the list of conveniences that kill, and that would be kibble. Now, we all know the sound that it makes when it plinks into the bowl, that we give our dogs and our cats every day, maybe twice a day, for their entire short little lives. Now, I say short little lives, and I'm not saying that kibble is the reason they have short lives. I just believe dogs and cats have short lives in general. You want them to live a lot longer than they actually do. But I lost a dear pet last year. Her name was Riley. She was a Cairn Terrier, and she was 13 years old. And I did a lot of research after her death. She died of cancer. And I just kept coming across a lot of things. And I'm not even going to go into all of that because that, like I said, can be controversial. But the kibble kept coming up. And there's a lot of things out there that you probably wouldn't want to know that the kibble big corporations can get by with. They don't even have to disclose a lot of the meats that they do put in there, if there is any meat. It's just super convenient. We bring these pets into our lives, and we love them, and it's just convenient to just plunk that kibble in their bowls. I know I did that all of Riley's life, but I know it's a cost option as well. It's a lot more cost friendly to buy that, especially if you have a larger dog. And so I'm not saying don't feed your dogs kibble, but I do want you to think that convenience, just think of it as being way too convenient. And as we've seen in the items on this list, the more convenient it is, sometimes the more dangerous it can be. If you feed your pets kibble, fine. Maybe add some good human foods to enhance it a couple of times a week. Now, I know cats are really picky because I have cats too. They're really picky, so this is harder for them. But with dogs, you could add eggs to their food, or a little bit of unflavored yogurt, or cottage cheese, or there's lots of things. Vegetables are a treat for them. You can go online and find all kinds of ways that, if you still need to do the kibble, just maybe enhance it a little bit and get them some more nutrition in there in other ways. Okay, everyone, I hope I didn't offend anyone with any of the items on this list. Maybe your life revolves around these conveniences and it's not something that you can change right now. But if there are things that you can change, or if we're just doing it out of habit, or we're just doing it out of laziness or forgetfulness, we're in a rut. I mean, there's just things, if we would make ourselves a little more self-aware, or we would just go to a little extra trouble in one area to hopefully avoid the risk associated with the convenience. Now, I like lists like this because I like to think and learn about the environment that I live in. I like to disrupt myself sometimes to get out of autopilot, to get out of my comfort zone. I enjoy looking at life from different perspectives. So, what about you? What did you think of this list? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. And I would also love for you to become a subscriber. I do videos on optimizing your life, your time, and your money. And I love talking to the Gen X crowd, but I welcome every generation that wants to come along. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I hope you have a great week. I've enjoyed giving you this list today, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks and bye.